when I started this last year, and so I met with some of the people involved in the school in the summer before, because we have summers off and just go through school 9 months out of the year. And so during the summer I was meeting and we were discussing the students that were at the school. And so one of the students here was, he had come from public schools. I mean, he's not, this is not typical of all the students. It's a very unusual case. But he had come from a public school. He was about 14 years old, and he was very violent in the school system. And they assigned 2 bodyguards to take him from class to class because he was always getting in fights. And so they went in mediation and finally pulled him out of the school, and then enrolled him into this school. And so at first people were like, well, what do we think about this person? But he just came into the school and he went to sleep. He went to the couch and he would just go to sleep. And every day he'd come in, he'd go to sleep, and then his ride would get there, and he'd wake up and he'd go home. And like we know this happens. This happens all the time. I've seen it a couple of other times at Greenwood this last year. But with this particular student, he had slept the entire year, and they had never had that. Like usually, a lot of times when students come from a public school setting into a Sudbury school, they'll sleep for 2 or 3 months sometimes. So usually just a couple of weeks, just enough time to decompress from their schooling experience. But he slept for an entire year. So the summer comes along, and then I've been hired, and they were telling me about the different students, and they said, okay, well, this one here, we don't know what's going to happen with him. He slept all last year. We don't know he might sleep this year too. And so school started, and the first 2 weeks, he came in, went right to sleep. He'd go straight to this one couch and go right to sleep. And it's like, okay, well, that's what they said would happen. And so just sort of just watched everything else going on, got to know everybody else. And then one day he woke up. And he looked around, and he got very excited about a computer, bringing in some new computers into the school, and he started lobbying for this, and then he decided that he wanted to be the school chair. And it's like, wow, this kid was just sleeping for a whole year, and now he woke up and he wants to be the chair, the school meeting chair. Like, how did that happen? And it took him a lot to convince everybody to elect him as the school meeting chair for that month, because they said, what do you mean? You've been sleeping all year. How can you possibly be the chair? But he insisted, and he spent half an hour just explaining why that we should give him that chance, that he felt that he could really do it, and so he said, okay, we'll let him do this, and he did a great job. and then the rest of the year is fine. He's one of the most active students, and he's one of the he's so supportive of the school, and it's great.